So the first thing we have to do is what? What should we do first? Yeah, you could find the slope, or you could find the midpoint. It doesn't really matter, does it? But did most people get the slope first? 9, 10. Yeah, most people got the slope first. Yeah. 8 minus 12 over 6 minus 10, wasn't it? Yeah. Minus 4 over 16, which is minus 1 over 4. Yeah. Yes. So that means the m is actually 4. So it's y equals 4x plus c. To get the c, we need the midpoint. Minus 10 plus 6 is minus 4. Over 2 is minus 2. 12 plus 8 is 20. Over 2 is 10. So we sub that in, and we get 10 equals minus 8 plus c. So c equals 18. And we have our answer. Our answer is y is 4x plus 18. Okay, yeah. I hope you all got that. This is a standard, usually it's a section A question 1 or 2. So it was, it was a question 1 in section A. Okay, right, okay, so first thing we should do is get the slope. And how do we do that? Derivative. So dy dx equals 10x minus 17. And what's the x here? 2. So this would be 3. But that means because it's a normal, it's minus 1 over 3. Yeah. So y equals mx plus c, and the point is minus 5, 2. Isn't it? Yeah. Minus 5 and 2. So c is minus 5 plus 2 over 3 is minus 4 and a third, which is what, 13 over 3? No. 13 over 3, isn't it? With a c? Minus 13 over 3? Isn't it?
Yeah.
So, we're finished. We just need to present our answer in the form that they want. So, what's the thing I need to do at the end here if I want it in this form?
Multiply by 3.
Multiply by 3. Cancel. And that's x plus 3y plus 13 equals 0. Or explicitly 1x plus 3y plus 13 equals 0. Yep. That one okay? So you can, they very clearly want the answer in this form here. Yeah? Alright, let's continue. Well, you can always check by some, huh?
Who needs to double check it?
Indeed. 7x plus 8y equals 4. And 2x plus 3y equals minus 1. So, I don't know, 2 and 7?
Yep.
Yeah. So that's 14x plus 16y equals 8. 14x plus 21y equals minus 7. I'll do the second equation minus the first, because in fact the order is up to me. 14x minus 14x is gone. 21y minus 16y is 5y, and minus 7 minus 8 is minus 15. So you have y equals minus 3. I'll sub that back into the first one here. I get 7x minus 24, is it? Isn't it? Equals 4. Oh yeah, the second, yeah, you're right. Looks a little easier, doesn't it? Smaller numbers. 2x minus 9 equals minus 1. 2x equals 8. So x equals 4. So the answer is 4 comma minus 3. Yeah. So it's straightforward for 4 marks. And that was question 2 on that particular exam. Okay?
But teacher,
Yeah.
I do somehow this, what do you call it? Substitution method.
It's fine, yeah. You got the same answer too? Yeah, it's fine. It didn't, I don't think it specified a method, did it? No. So it's up to you.
But unless the question says...
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It's fine then, yeah. So sometimes now they do say use substitution, use elimination. Now often they don't. Just be careful, sometimes they do. Yeah?
Do they often asked, like, use the Gaussian method?
Never. Yeah.
Thank God.
Yeah. Yeah. No, don't worry about that one. Just don't forget that one. You need to know the other ones just in case they specify a method. Okay. Get the or. So the or here can be the second term over the first term, which is 10/8, or even the third term over the second term if you want it. Doesn't really matter. 900 over 1080, which is 90 over 108. Now I know 3 goes into both of those, so that's 30 over, what is it?
5 over 6.
Okay, 5 over 6 then. Right, so that's the or. Why does it converge?
It's between.
Between, yeah. It converges because the or equals 5 over 6, which is between -1 and 1.
But those are the brackets you should use.
No. You could even write it out in a sentence, or you could even write it like, like this. I just need you to communicate that you understand the or is between -1 and 1. Whatever way you want to communicate that is fine. It is round brackets, yeah, because we don't include 1. Yeah. And the last thing then is the sum to infinity, which the formula is a over 1 minus or, and the a here is 1296, and the or is 5/6. 1 minus 5/6 is 1/6. So it's 6 times 1296. What's that? 7,000? 7776. Okay. So my bet was if it was 4 marks, it was probably 1, and then 1 for this, 1 for the formula, and then 1 for correct use of the formula. So that's probably how the 4 marks broke down for this question. Okay. Right, is that one okay? That was a straightforward one. That one was a question 7. Okay. Well, you still have 27 seconds if you need to push it. Okay. I'll just write this down anyways. Y equals x squared minus 6x plus 13. So the way it works is you have the middle number. So in that case it's minus 3 squared. And then the second number here is this minus the square of this. So 13 minus 9 is 4. And then to get the turning point, the vertex, what you do is you look at this guy and say, what value of x makes it 0? 3. And then if this is 0, what's the y? 4. That's the vertex. And where does it cross the y-axis? That's when x is, if you put x as 0, what's y? 13. So 0, 13. They want a sketch, so something like this. Make sure you put in your x and your y, and 0, 13, so I'll just mark off 13 here, and the vertex is at, we'll put 3 here, and if 13 is there, 4 would have to be about there. What shape is it? Yeah, convex, and they just want to see that it dips down to the turning point here, which I'll mark in as 3, 4, and this is the intercept here, which I'll mark in as 0, 13 then. And that, I think I've answered every part of that, haven't I?
Can we say that y intercept is always our number c?
Yeah, always this guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that one okay? Yeah? So I don't forget.
Y-intercept is always C.
Yeah, it's always. I can't think of any situation where it couldn't be that, you know?
Yeah.
What number was that one? 849.
It's just going to be me. You will like that.
We have that expression like turning point of saddle.
You might.
Sorry, who asked me?
Are you coming tomorrow?
What's
You're not
taking,
coming tomorrow? Like to school? She's not
what's
coming to
taking so
school.
long here?
Are you coming? Why?
You guys always like very careful that you won't like to go into your potty
I hear you.
house and other stuff because I'm always like sitting in the window.
I know, I just wanted it to be in my house, but it's not my house.
Right, this one is solve and sketch. Solve and sketch quadratics.
Can you send me the first draft?
No. It's okay, Denise, it's okay.
No, it's not.
I'm pretty similar anyway, so it's okay.
Just get it and just, you have to send it by this week.
Great.
Yeah, I know. I need to
Eight,
finish.
4, 9.
Back to your
Updated. Right. This one, 6x squared plus x minus 15, was it? Yeah. So if I want to try and factorize it, some tips here. Usually when you have a choice between 6 and 1 and 3 and 2, it tends to be 3 and 2. It tends to be not the answer that has one of them as 1. That's not a rule, that's just a habit of whoever makes these questions. So I know from experience that 3 and 2 would be good to start with. And likewise with 15 and 3, I also know from experience they don't tend to go with the pair 15, 1. So 5 and 3, the question is which way around. I need to get 1 in the middle here, so I need to make sure the multiplications are close. So if I put 5 here, I'd get 15 and 6, so that seems no good. But if I put 5 and 3 here, I'd get 10 and 9. Well, that seems promising. I need to make sure I get a plus, so that would be positive 10, and that would be negative 9. Alright, so this is the factorization here. And the answer is x is minus 5 over 3 or 3 over 2. Okay, and that's fine for that. Right, let's have a look. So first we have 3x equals 7 minus 2y. So that means 2y equals minus 3x plus 7. Or y is minus 3 over 2 plus 7 over 2. So the m is, I hope you all got minus 3 over 2. Yeah? Y equals mx plus c. What point do we use? 2, 3. So 3 equals minus 3 plus c. So c is 6. And the answer is y equals minus 6. Now, do they specify any form they want it in? No. So we can leave it like this, right? 815, that should be parallel and perpendicular. Okay. Oh, look at that. I was sheer dumb luck the same one came up again. Didn't we do this one already?
Yeah.
That's a 1 in 400 chance, and that's something. Right, try this one now, 4 minutes.
Not 7 minutes?
No, it's not as hard as it looks. Let me actually pause this. Okay. What was the equation? X power
3 over 5
3 over 5
equals 9x.
equals 9x. Okay, so the first thing I'll do is just divide by the x to get the x's on the same side. And that's x power 1. Division means you subtract the powers, doesn't it? 3/5 minus 1 is
Negative.
minus 2/5. And I don't want x power minus 2/5, I want x power, yeah. Well, what power should I put on both sides? I should put minus 5 over 2.
Yeah.
Because they'll cancel down. And so I'll get my answer, x equals 9 power minus 5 over 2.
Can we do reasonable?
I'll look at that in a second. 9, so that is 1 over 9 power 5 over 2, which is 1 over square root 9 power 5, which is 1 over 3 power 5, isn't it?
No, 5. Oh yeah.
Yeah? Which is 1 over something quite big. 3 by 3 is 9, 27, 8.
40.
243?
Yeah.
Now, you said you tried to do this with logs, which
Last
might be
step.
possible.
Last step. I don't think you just.
The last step?
Yeah.
Oh, you mean when you had x minus 2 over 5 equals
Yeah.
9?
Yeah.
I started from the beginning, a little bit. So,
You put a log at the start?
yeah, it was.
I put log on
That
the
might be
last
possible. Well, okay, well, I want to see what happens if you put log in at the start, okay? So if you have... Oh, sorry, can I scroll down? X power 3/5 equals 9x. So if you put a log at the start, is it? You would get 3/5 log x equals log 9 plus log x. This is a multiplication. Yeah? And then this is bringing the power down. If I take this to the right, I get 1 log x minus 3/5 of log x, 2/5 of log x equals minus log 9. So my answer is x equals minus 5 over 2 log 9, which is... I'm just a bit concerned about the minus. I feel like I made a sign mistake, perhaps. Was my answer previously negative?
Yes.
No.
No.
Minus
Ah!
here.
Okay, there's something I didn't consider. We'll have to check. I hope this comes in as minus 1 over 243. Does it? Like a minus 0.0 something number.
Yeah.
Yeah, minus 5 point.
No, I'm glad I did this because it made me realize a mistake I made in this one. When I went from here to here, I forgot to consider that you're square rooting, which means you have two possible answers. And the sign does matter because I have a power 5, which is an odd power. So the answer is plus or minus 1 over 243. So I think it's possible one mark would have been lost if you didn't have both answers here. Now that's very easy to miss. You just saw that I missed it, and you would have missed it too if you just typed this on the calculator. You would never consider it being plus or minus. Right?
What if, can I ask
Yeah.
the now you put it as 3 squared,
Yeah.
so then it cancels out each other.
Yeah, so if you write 1 over 3 squared times 5 over 2, it looks like it cancels, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But technically what you're doing at this step is you're doing square root 3 squared. Now, yeah, that does equal 3, but because there's an x here, you're solving for an equation and you have to consider both possibilities. The other way you can see that the answer could be plus or minus is at the beginning. Let me show you. If you were to take this up here, you could rewrite that as x, for example, 5th root cubed equals 9x. Now, suppose we knew a solution. Doesn't matter what it is. 5, whatever the x is. Let's say it was 5. If 5 was a solution, then minus 5 should be a solution as well. Because if I sub in minus 5 here and minus 5 here, the minuses on both sides cancel and we're back with the plus case. So, I suppose my tip would be, and this is a good tip now, whenever you're solving these, at the very beginning, ask yourselves, is the power odd or even? If you're looking at lots of odd powers, then chances are there could be a plus minus answer. So here's an example. If I had some equation, let's just say something like 3x squared equals, I don't know, 4x power 1/6. That probably, because it's positive, it might have two answers. Okay? Because in each case you could have a plus minus. Right? But likewise, if it's odd, it could have, let's say something like this. This could also have two answers because if there was a minus here and here, they would both cancel. So what's the situation where there could only be one answer? Well, maybe if it was something like, oh, let me see, 3x cubed, I don't know. Maybe if it's mixed, actually, something like x squared equals 0. So yeah, there could be two answers here, because if you square it, you get the same thing. But the two answers going in here, they both become different things, and so it's kind of hard to imagine that they could both work. You know, let's say for example, this could end up being 4, and if you put in -2, it's also 4, right? What way would we need this to be? We need this to be a -4, yeah? But if you put in the other sign, then you would get a 4. So it's hard for me to see it having two answers if you have a mixture of odd and even. But if you have both odds and both evens, then I could see a possibility for two answers then. So this one here, odd, odd, and odd on the left and the right, yeah, okay, maybe two answers. Okay, but even if it was even, like 2, 6, and 4, could still be two answers. It's only if it's mixed where it starts to become difficult to have two answers, you know. But that's very tricky. I'm glad we did that one as an example, because it's something to keep an eye out in the exam if it comes up then. Okay.